Hey guys, my name is Daniel Modeki. I'd like to thank you all so much for joining me today. Most importantly, I'd like to thank God for enabling us all to be here. Well, in today's video, I'd like us to continue with a series that we started last week, and this was on the must-dos in dating and marriage. If you happen to miss out on last week's video, just head to my YouTube channel and check it out, and remember to subscribe so that you do not miss out on any of this wonderful content. Well, last week we mentioned that it is very important that you focus on the foundation that you're building for your relationship and marriage. Secondly, we also mentioned that it is absolutely prudent that you watch your tongue. Watch the words that you speak to your spouse. And thirdly, we also spoke about the 24-hour rule, that it was important that we are able to sort things out within the shortest time possible to avoid them from growing and becoming larger things. And so in today's video, I'd like us to continue from there. And today I'd like us to speak about something that I thought about to be very important. And this is weeding. You know, like for a farmer, weeds are very, very dangerous, because if they are left alone to grow in a piece of land, then they can grow to a level that is uncontrollable. And you all know that weeds are detrimental when it comes to any crop, because they fight for the nutrients with the same crop. You know, they'll fight for water, and basically they'll end up choking the crop, that which the farmer is trying to grow. And by the end of the season, his yield will be miserable, because he'll pick out very little things. And so, like in any relationship or marriage, weeds tend to try and sprout up. And it is on us to ensure that we make the time and effort to weed out these things that, if left to grow, can end up destroying a marriage or a relationship. You know, I always like to ask people one thing. How many people do you know who have been killed by maybe lions? How many people do you know who've been killed by elephants? How many people do you know who've been killed by, these things that we really, really fear? And if you think about it, probably none. Okay? And we end up living our lives fearing these big things. However, if you think about it, how many people do you know who have been killed by mosquitoes? Over millions of people every year are killed by malaria. And these are mosquitoes that we allow into our homes. You know, you see 2-3 mosquitoes and you have nothing to do with them. But let me tell you, that little thing is what causes malaria, which kills people. And so I came to realize that in marriage, a lot of us are normally worried about the big things. You know, I fear my spouse will cheat on me. I fear, about my marriage becoming violent. I fear us going into this certain direction that is so negative. But I'll tell you that those outcomes only come from small things that have been allowed to grow in a marriage. You know, cheating will come from somewhere. A violent spouse will come from somewhere. One day something happened and it was allowed to continue growing and was not cut off at that point. And so I'll tell you, focus on the little things. Focus on weeding. Focus on cutting down these habits and behaviors that will be detrimental to your relationship in the near future. And then you will realize that you don't even have to worry about these other things, because you've dealt with them at a very young age. You know, the Bible tells us that teach a child in how they should grow, and when they grow up, they will not depart from it. And that's the same principle that I'm asking you guys to put into your marriage and relationships now. Okay? Weed out the things you don't like. Make time and effort to talk about them. Don't let them grow. Talk about them and weed them. Because if you kill them now, then they definitely have no space in the future. You know, my wife and I, first of all, we don't even click. We don't allow clicking. You know, sometimes by mistake, you might be in a bad mood and you click. We check each other. You know, I'm like, babe, what was that? Or she'll ask me, Daniel, what was that? You know, sometimes when you're disappointed, someone will roll eyes at each other. We don't allow that. Okay? Because we realized that those small things will grow into bigger things and into bigger things. And before you realize, oh my God, you're dealing with a massive iceberg that just is out there to destroy your marriage. And so it's very important, my friends, that as a farmer uses his effort, his resources, and his time to eradicate his farm from weeds, so must you also use the same effort to eradicate the weeds and the habits that are not good in your marriage. The second thing I'd like us to talk about today, my friends, is it is never greener on the other side. The grass is never greener on the other side. You know, all that is happening is that on the other side, there's somebody who wakes up early, turns on his water, and waters his piece of land. And every marriage is about effort. If today I was to give you, let's say, 1/8 of an acre, all right, that was green and plush, and you never took care of it, you never took the time, you never took the effort to go to that piece of land and just till it and make sure you cut off the edges. As we mentioned, you weed out what you don't want, you just take care of it and make sure it looks good. After a year, if I came back to that piece of land, you'd tell me you don't want it. Because guess what? The grass is dry, weeds have grown, it looks bad and bushy, and so you'd tell me, you know what, give me another piece of land. And let's say I go and give you another 1/8 somewhere else that is plush and green, and the same way you do not take care of it, what will happen? You'll ask me to change it again. Oh, Daniel, this piece of land was not good, give me something else. And so you come to realize that marriage by itself is nothing. Marriage is the people who are in the institution. Marriage is all about you and me. It is all about the effort that we put in. And so, if we don't put in the effort, if we don't put in the time to nurture it, to take care of it, and to grow it, then we'll always think that it is greener on the other side. And so you will think that running away from this situation will be better when I go somewhere else, only for you to get there and realize, wow, it's the same thing. And so today I want to tell you, it is all about your effort, you who's watching today. Don't wait for your spouse to do it. You start it. Be the person you want your marriage to be. If you want more kindness in your marriage, be that person. If you want more love in your marriage, be that person. If you want more forgiveness in your marriage, be the one to start it. Don't wait for your spouse to start it. Inject those things that you want to see in your marriage. Be the person that you want to see in your marriage. And I'm telling you, you'll realize that it is never greener on the other side. It's just that the other person is taking time and effort to take care of his piece of land. He's watering it, he's taking care of it. You know, if you let your husband go and just forget about him, then you'll start seeing other people looking good. Same thing with guys. If you let your wife just, don't care about her anymore, you'll keep looking at other people's. And so, my friends, remember, it is never greener on the other side. It is all about the effort you put where you are. And secondly, weed. Do not allow these weeds to grow, because a time will come when you can do nothing about them. And so, my friends, until next time, I'd like you to think about this in your marriages. Sit down with your spouse, sit down with your partner, and just discuss and see, where have we allowed weeds to grow and what can we do about it? Think about, where have I not put enough effort into my marriage and into my relationship, thinking that the grass is always greener on the other side. And so until next time, take care and God bless you. And remember to subscribe so that you don't miss out on this lovely series. Take care, guys. God bless.